Hi, my name is Anna, and I will be arguing that states should surrender aspects of their sovereignty to comply with humanitarian law to an extent. Sovereignty has traditionally been considered the most important and held to the highest order. However, the complex interdependence of today's world demands that we think of the greater humanitarian law, especially because we're so interconnected. Humanitarian law has proven a track record of protecting human rights and saving lives. For example, countries that have ratified key conventions, such as the Geneva Convention, show an improved adherence to basic human rights compared to those who have not. Though enforcement remains challenging in the international system, the framework itself creates a standard of accountability that states should strive to meet. The notion of sovereignty does not preclude states from adopting laws that align with their governing systems, and it shouldn't misalign with their governing systems. Most democratic nations already embed principles of human rights into their policies. Whether or not you think those are correct rights, sorry, I'm in a room with automatic timing lighting, will not go beyond 2 minutes. Making compliance with international humanitarian law a natural extension of their commitments. And then it contributes to stability on multiple levels, global, regional, and internal, by preventing atrocities such as genocide or large-scale violence. These help laws reduce mass displaced and migration crises that you might have seen during during the European migrant crisis following the Arab Spring. Stability in every state is in every state's interest. It reduces conflict, meaning fewer displaced populations and more predictable international relations. You wouldn't have such a problem with immigrant crises if we had stricter humanitarian laws at an international level. States that embrace these laws signal their commitment to peace, which can enhance their diplomatic and economic relations. Many states that follow humanitarian law don't have these immigration crises other than on the receiving end. Adhering to humanitarian law fosters reciprocity among nations. States that protect the rights of foreign nationals are more likely to have their own citizens treated fairly abroad. Failing to comply undermines the state of moral standing and weakens its ability to demand similar treatment for its national foreigners. So you could see that in the US there is discrimination towards people that might be Middle Eastern, and it's kind of seen as oh, well, your country is backwards in these humanitarian laws, when in actuality they're in the United States that practices these humanitarian laws, but they will face that discrimination simply because of their race. Whereas if we had a more international standard followed, you wouldn't face that in other countries. This relationship would underscore practical and ethical necessity of participating in the international legal framework. In today's interconnected world, absolute sovereignty is an outdated concept. We are way too interconnected as a country between the internet and modern air travel to be able to not have complete absolute sovereignty. It would be detrimental to our supply chain and to our global politics. We already surrender parts of our sovereignty when forming alliances, joining trade agreements, and participating in national organizations like the UN. Compliance with humanitarian international law is a logical and morally imperative extension of these practices. By reframing certain aspects of the UN, like the ICC, we would be able to see further progress in this. Surrendering limited sovereignty to comply with these laws often strengthens states rather than weakens them. It builds trust, encourages cooperation, and facilitates access to economic opportunities such as trade agreements and foreign aid. States that participate gain legitimacy and are more likely to thrive in a globalized economy rather than one that's centralized. Overall, certain aspects of sovereignty to comply with humanitarian international law is not only moral and ethical, it's imperative, but it's also a practical necessity. We need it more than ever. It promotes stability, fosters reciprocal relationships, and aligns with the realities of an interconnected world. The long-term benefits, both for individual states and global community, far outweigh the minimal sacrifices in sovereignty, and let us choose humanity, stability, and cooperation over outdated notions of unyielding sovereignty and nationalism that comes with it. Thank you.